Hi, Manjesh. Let's take a look at your new set of essays, traditional food. Let's see what you wrote. Okay, not in most of the nations, it should be in most nations. All right, so let's fix that. In most nations, the increase in the consumption of fast food is negatively affecting families, individuals, and society. I completely agree with this view, and this essay will discuss both sides using examples from the Indian government and Delhi University to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, so now check this out. You didn't present this as something up for debate. You just presented it as fact. And so for you then to say that you agree with this view seems rather odd to me. What would make a lot more sense is if you had said, in most nations, it is widely believed that the increase in the consumption, et cetera, et cetera. And so, since it's something widely believed, it's not something that you're presenting just as fact, you can then say, I completely agree with this view. Okay, so that makes sense then. However, let's talk about what doesn't make sense. You said, I completely agree with this view, but if that's the case, I have no idea why you're going to discuss both sides. What both sides? The positive effect and the negative effect of fast food? I don't get it. And the fact is that they didn't ask you to discuss both views. They asked you to what extent do you agree or disagree. You've already told me that you completely agree. And so it makes no sense to us that you would talk about a side that you don't support. Now, having said that, there is a way to do it. But I got to be honest with you, most IELTS candidates, except for like the really high level ones, have a hard time doing this. So before I say any more about that, let's actually see what you did and take it from there. The central reason behind this is twofold. The central reason behind what? Okay, I'm a huge proponent of using pronouns, but not in the first sentence. You need to tell me what this refers to because I just don't know. You've switched paragraphs. You had a ton of different nouns in the previous paragraph that you could have been referring to. So make it clear. All right. The referencing is not clear. And that's one of the things that is um, in the band descriptors. It might be actually in the examiner band descriptors. Referencing is unclear. And that affects coherence and cohesion. So the central reason behind something is twofold. Firstly, most working parents, okay? You can't say most of the working parents because it's as if we know which ones you're talking about because you've talked about them already. You haven't. You're introducing them now. So most working parents increasingly consume fast food because of the lack of time. Due to this, in the long term, no, these fast foods may cause obesity problems to these families. For instance, recent empirical research by the Indian government demonstrated that 75% of families facing obesity issues in India are the families who regularly consume fast food. Moreover, many individuals are getting addicted to the fast. No. What happened here? Many individuals are getting addicted to the fast food, which may cause them severe with an E health issues in the long term. For example, a recent study showed that pizza contains 30% more sugar than the maximum limit as comma as a result, comma people who eat this pizza frequently could have a higher chance of getting diseases S like diabetes and heart attacks. Therefore, it's clear that fast food negatively affects A, not only the families, but also the individuals. Okay, get rid of the and get rid of the. Okay, general, families, individuals. Okay, I think you did a really good job with this. I like that you were very specific. Look, in this paragraph, I'm talking about families and individuals. You need to do that. So that was good. Let's continue. Secondly, the overconsumption of fast food is causing growth in the society of unhealthy people, and many families are facing problems with obesity because of unhealthy food. And okay, what is going on with this sentence? It's way too long and it has lost coherence. So, secondly, the overconsumption of fast food is causing growth in the society of of unhealthy people, full stop. Also, many families are facing problems with obesity. You already said that in the previous paragraph. Okay, so get rid of families. You already talked about them. Let's try it one more time. Secondly, the overconsumption of fast food is causing growth in the society of unhealthy people, and these people become a burden to society. This is because the government allocates a large portion of taxpayers, you need an apostrophe after the S, money for the treatment of these unhealthy people. For example, an extensive study by Delhi University showed that the government has been increasing its budget to treat unhealthy people by 5% every year. No, for the last 5 years, full stop. As a result, this increase in the budget on the health sector is slowing the country's development. Thus, fast food creates a negative impact on society. Okay, good. Here you talked about society. I think your examples were excellent. Work on the grammar. Let's talk about your conclusion, and then I'm going to address your doubt, and then we're going to address your introduction. From the arguments and examples given, I completely believe that fast food is causing severe health problems to families and individuals and negatively affecting society. It is predicted that citizens and government will take major actions to reduce the consumption of unhealthy food by increasing the consumption of healthy food. Okay, fine, good. One example for each main idea. Well, I don't really understand your question. I don't understand the question, but let me tell you what I would change here. So, you are absolutely right that you needed to address families, individuals, and society. Okay? Where you ran into some problems was with this introduction. This is absolutely the wrong statement here. I completely agree with this view, and this essay will discuss both sides. No, I completely agree with this view. And this essay will elaborate on my position using examples from the Indian government, etc., etc. That would have made sense. And that actually is what you wrote about. So not this essay will discuss both sides, because it didn't. So let me tell you what else you had a problem with. You talked merely about fast food, just fast food. You didn't mention anything about the fact that we're eating less traditional food. You just talked about our shift towards fast food. So what I would have liked here is some sort of comparison, because there is an implied comparison. Okay, there is an implied comparison. How this compares to traditional food. Okay, now, so to make some reference to traditional food would have been a good idea. I think that this paragraph would have been a great place to do it. Okay, so you could have said something like, in contrast, people who prefer traditional foods were found to have, I don't know, 30% lower cholesterol. Something. So make some sort of reference to traditional food, because it's not just, oh, people are eating fast food, therefore fast food is bad. It's also, hey, we're changing our entire eating culture. So that's a great way to talk about this as well. So when you talk about society, you don't have to talk just about taxpayer money going to health. You can also talk about the fact that culturally there is a shift, because if you're no longer making traditional meals that have been passed down from generations, what is happening to a society's culture? Okay, so that's another layer that you could talk about that I think is really important. Another thing that I think is really important is, also talking about family bonding time. Okay, so, a lot of families use cooking time as a way to bond, as a way to spend time together. Again, passing down traditions and recipes and so forth. So it's a wonderful way to families to bond. If instead everyone is just going out to the local fast food thing and just like eating quickly and then, going off in their respective directions, what is being lost? Okay, in terms of relationships, in terms of culture, all of that. So those were the things that I would have liked to see here. All right, so let's take a look and see what you wrote to your friend here. All right, you have a, okay. So relatives, family members, they're typically informal. Okay, to answer your question, they're typically informal. Semi-formal is to maybe a teacher. Semi-formal is maybe to your manager. So that would be appropriate. Your neighbor could potentially be semi-formal, depending on how you want to do it. But your friend, obviously informal. Let's see. Dear Karthik, hope you're doing well. As you know, a couple weeks ago I came to Delhi, but I was not able to come to your home as per the plan. It's not you are, it's your. So no apostrophe, no E. I'd like to apologize for not meeting you. I don't know what's going on with your punctuation here. It should be a full stop. I hope we'll meet in the near future. All right, I don't love this sentence. Rather than saying I hope we'll meet in the near future, I think you could have said something like, I'd like to apologize for not meeting you, but I have plans to rectify this situation. Okay, because you're going to talk about that later on in the letter. I had a severe fever for 3 days during my business trip, so I had to work overtime to complete the company's work before the deadline. Also, the distance between my company and, careful with this, you're spelling it wrong, your home was not a lot of distance. You just said the distance was not a lot of distance. You can't say that. So the distance between my company and your home was too great or so great that, okay, one or the other, was too great. So I wasn't able to come to your house. All right, I already told you yours wrong. However, next week I'm coming to Delhi again with my friends for a holiday trip. So this time for sure I'll come to your home. I'm not going to say it again. No, right. No, and don't start the sentence with and. Do we do it? Yes. Is it wrong? Also yes. So don't do it. Also, this week I'm giving a party for my job promotion. Please don't forget to come to the party. Feel free to call me anytime if you have a question. See you soon and take care. Yes, that's fine. With love. Fine. Okay. So, yes, you apologized. Yes, you gave your reasons. Let's talk about this. Suggest. Okay. So, this is a really interesting thing here. What IELTS is trying to do with a question like this is to see if you understand the language of suggestion. All right. So, how do we suggest? We say perhaps we can, or maybe we could, or why don't we do this? Or, okay. So, what I want you to do is look up the language of suggestion. Okay. Here, you don't say it as a suggestion. You just say it, I'm coming, I'll see you. Okay. So what you want to do is to show that you know how to make suggestions. And it doesn't look like you did. You just simply said, I'm coming to Delhi, I'm going to see you. Okay. And that's not a suggestion. That's kind of just like an announcement. So again, it's really important to show that you understand this difference. So this is what I suggest. I'm coming to Delhi again with my friends for a holiday trip. Perhaps this time for sure we can meet. Maybe you'd like to come out with us. We're thinking about going to XYZ restaurant. Um, Perhaps you could join us. Okay, so this is suggesting. All right, so I want you to look it up because I think there's another essay or another letter that asks for suggestions as well. So just be familiar with it. It's called functional language. So see if you can find it for suggestions. All right, go ahead, correct these, and let's see more work. Good luck.